To get an antenna in the sky is a hobby that you can take until they wheel you out. That's the best part. So. Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. I kind of got into the hobby by my brother-in-law, who's not really a hardcore prepper, but he's kind of a mid-core prepper, I guess you'd call him. And he kind of got in the radio in case the crap hits the fan, and he kind of talked me into doing it too. But we didn't know anything about ham radio. We thought we'd be able to communicate with each other. We live about 50 miles apart, and I think on 10 meters we were able to make one contact. So we learned that you don't always get through when you need to, but it's still pretty cool, and I'm glad I got into the hobby, and now I'm just enjoying talking to people all over the world, and I've only had this hex beam, I don't know, I think a little over a month, and it's not the radio or the amp, it's your antenna, and man, it made a believer out of me, Rich.
Good afternoon. I'm listening to my SDR receiver using SDR Sharp application here on my Windows 10 PC. And this is just a demo. Today conditions are good this afternoon, so just want to show it off there. Right now I'm using an external antenna. Is inverted V dipole that's on my backyard, and it's cut for the 20-meter band.
Surprisingly enough, the tri-bender had been up there for 42 years, and I cut the traps apart. They were pristine inside. I had no expectation of that. I expected them to have bugs and corrosion and all sorts of stuff like that. It was a great antenna. Too bad it's in little bitty pieces in a landfill right now, because it worked great. So it's been an adjustment for me on the higher bands, not having a rotating antenna for 20 through 10. But that's all right. I've got that, and I don't have a tower to manage and all that kind of thing. So what do you got for lower frequencies, 80 and 40 meters? Our band K1B, JC, NZHI. Well, Rich, I originally started with a multi-band vertical, and I could get just about every band on that multi-band vertical, and not very well, though, of course, not compared to that. If I want to go on 40 or 80, I did end up finding one of these switches, antenna switch, so I can control the switch right if I want and get on 40 and 80. But to tell you the truth, I really am staying around 20 and 17, 15, and sometimes 10 when it seems like it's open, and that's kind of where I've been sticking over. Yeah, very good there. Well, you know that 75 is probably where you're going to find your brother 50 miles away, because 40 miles or 40 meters you'll go over his head, and of course, you know, on the upper band you just won't even be close to him, you'll be over his head. But 75 would do that for you, and of course, I bet you've done 160. A lot of people have not, partly because the antenna is difficult to use.
This is again 20-meter band right now in 14.27 megahertz upper side band, and conditions are very good here for listening these shortwave frequencies and around this 20-meter band. Conditions here, my local conditions right now are no clear skies. It is 3:19 p.m. right now, and it's surprisingly good, the propagation conditions here. So hope that you enjoy.
You can get a lot of, 160 can work, and it's pretty magical. But of course, you would not hear anybody this time of the year because it's just too much static. So anyhow, that's just a thought for you. Maybe 160, and inverted L is the easiest antenna to put up for 160. K1BJC NZA Charlie. Yeah, Rich, you know, I did, a couple of times I did hop over on 160. On the 7300 with the built-in tuner, it seemed like one time I was able to tune it on 160, and then other times when I was like at a different section of the band and I couldn't tune it, so I was a little hesitant about doing it, but on the area where I was able to tune originally, I think was pretty close to the digital area of 160. If I remember right, I think I made a couple of digital FT8 contacts on 160 over.
Yeah, very good. Well, good for you on that one. And that's a pretty good trick there, because usually an 80 meter antenna does not work very well for 160. So you were doing real well. And the fact that it would tune one part of the band and not another part of the band, that makes absolutely good sense there. You just happen to find the right spot. You know, the tuner in the 7300 is okay, but it's small, and because it's small, it has a less of a range on it than a bigger one. And eventually, my guess is eventually you'll get yourself a tuner that will allow you more range and not allow you to use something that's not appropriate, but will just that the tuner in the radio is just doesn't have enough range to handle it. I have some external tuners. I'm currently using the MFJ intelligent tuner. It's an automatic tuner. There's lots of automatic tuners out there, and they cost less than this one if you're willing to have less than a kilowatt of power. And that's something you might want to consider, because there'll always be compromises with the antennas. They get wet and that kind of stuff. So I'll keep it short. Make sure you can hear me there. I'm copying just about everything you're saying there, Ben. K1BJC NZA Charlie.
Everything you're saying, Rich, very good. Speaking of that, getting the Mercury 3 amplifier, I was kind of thinking that maybe I would at some point need to get a good tuner, and that's a great question to ask you. What would you recommend for a tuner, or do you think I'd be able to tune the Mercury 3 with the internal tuner, if you know?
Okay, I can't tell you about the tuner that's inside the Mercury 3, but that is a big plus. An awful lot of, I know you're waiting in line for that thing, but there's a lot of people I talk to on the air that are doing the same thing, so that's the reason you got to be a patient guy. Yeah, if you got the tuner coming in Mercury 3, you might as well hold off until you find out how that works. But for antenna tuner, I've got the Meritron ATR 30. It's a $600 tuner. The automatic tuner I got, which is about $800, MSA 998, and I didn't use the tuner very much at the previous location because all my antennas were resonant. But when I did, I just used the manual tuner. It was good enough. But now I got one antenna for everything. I've gotten lazy, and it's kind of nice just to turn it on and have it figure it out for me. And the other one is a 898, an MFJ 898, which is a kilowatt tuner. It's a manual tuner, and so those are the ones I have, and I got too many of them also, and I got 3 of them. I'm using one. So another thing about the amplifier, I don't know what your neighborhood is like, but one thing you're going to find out about an amplifier is you're going to find out what faulty electronics is around in your neighborhood. You will discover them, and just be prepared for that, because you're going to light them up with that Mercury 3. Go ahead.
Actually, I'm lucky enough that my property isn't really, I'm only close to one on my particular property, so yeah, I guess I wasn't really thinking about that, but that's something good to keep an eye on. I don't want to tick her off. She's a nice lady, but I think I'm far enough away from other people that I don't think
Yeah, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of things have come to our favor. The fact that most people use cell phones, But when people had landlines, wired landlines, and they would oftentimes do wiring with not even with twisted pair. They would just put up whatever they could, and those things will find your amplifier for sure. Stereos will find your amplifier. Speakers for external speakers for your TV. They'll discover that. Speakers for your computer, they will definitely find it because they're generally pretty cheap, and they don't have twisted pair for wiring on that. So anything that's got a low-level audio, like a cheaper, like a speaker or something like that, maybe it's lighting up. Also, if somebody's got not so much these days because most people don't have it, but a turntable.
Yeah. Again, great conditions this afternoon. The SDR receiver is connected to a inverted V dipole on my backyard. It's cut for the 20-meter band, so that's great.
People don't have those anymore. Everything's all there UHF, so you don't have that so much anymore. Let's see what else. AM radios, people don't listen to those anymore. Stereos, you know, the speaker lines, you'll have that too. So just be aware that when you get an amplifier, you're going to find out where that stuff is. K1BJC NZA Charlie.
Well, thanks for that information, because I wasn't really thinking about that, of course, because of my radio now, with just 100 watts, I've never heard any complaints at all. Although I have noticed that the RFI, with my wife's fluorescent lamp upstairs, I can do some funny things with that, but so I can only imagine. Yeah, you want to keep pace with your neighbors, that's for sure, so thanks for that tip there.
Yeah, very good. Well, let's see. So I put some chokes, some little cables, and but of course I ran out of the chokes. Somebody gave me a bunch of clamp-on chokes, which are really nice, but we don't have enough of those. And then here, this is the QT. I'm in the basement, and the TV is upstairs, and the center speaker wound up lighting up. And of course, I'd installed it, and I just used cheap speaker wire, and that was the problem. So what I wound up doing was taking some aircraft shielded wire I had hanging around, and used that for each of the lines, each of the two wires, and then attaching the shield of that to the ground of the tuner to which everything was attached, and that worked. That solved that problem. An interesting problem I had was that there was no ground connection on the back of the tuner, but there were a number of inputs that we were not using. So I just took an RCA connector with nothing in the middle of it and just attached to the side of it and connected up to one of the unused inputs, and that gave me my ground connection. So that's something you might want to file away when you do that. So yeah, my first amplifier was an SB200 with a pair of 572s in it, and that's a 600 watt amplifier, maybe up to 700 or 800 watts if you really push it hard with a stiff 220 supply, but it's normally 600 watts. And I discovered a lot of stereo systems when I got that thing, and I know that Mercury is going to be more than 600 watts. K1BJC NZHI.
Wow, very good, Rick. Very, very creative on that. Trying to have a problem and figure it out. I think that's part of the hobby too. It makes it enjoyable just to figure things out and make it work. That's kind of cool. And I know on the Mercury 3 amplifier that I'm on the list for, 220 or 110, and I know there might be some I'd like to hear your input on that, Rich.
Yeah, very good there, Ben. K1BJC NZA Charlie. In previous location, I ran all the stuff on 220 because I ran a dedicated line and a dedicated box up to the shack, which was the second floor, and so I ran all the amplifiers on 220 because I had done that, and I wanted to get, and that's how I got the extra steam out of the SB200. I'm running this one on 110, and it can run 220 also. This is a newer house. The old one, the other was an older house, but I'd run a dedicated BX cable up to the shack, and with some 12 gauge stuff. So I'd had plenty of steam for handling 220. But it depends on how good the connections are in your house and the like. You'll get a little bit more power out of 220 for sure. And with 220, it will the dips when on voice peaks won't be as prevalent as they might be on 110. But if you got a good stiff to 110, it should be okay. But you're picking up a few watts. It depends on how hard it is for you to put 220 in the shack. That's really what it amounts to. K1BJC NZHR.
All right, very good. That had a comment. I didn't catch their call sign, but if that person is still out there that has a comment, come on in, over. Okay, nothing heard there, Rich. I guess he didn't stick around. But hey, yeah, thanks for that information. I was kind of, it would be really easy. My shack is really about 6 feet away from the electrical panel. And I was a telephone technician for 30 years myself, so I know a little bit about wiring. And on my old house, I actually did all the electrical wiring of my lower level when I finished it. So that's something that I would easily be able to handle there, over.
Oh, okay, very good there, Ben. Well, given their qualifications, I'd say no question about it. Go ahead and put in 220. Yeah, no doubt about it. Do 220. The kind of plug I used was, what was it called? I know it was a I forgot which one. Was the one that was a 15 ampere? The one that's 15 ampere, because you'll be tempted to run the 20, but you don't need it because it's going to be a 15 amp. I mean, I think it's going to be. I don't know that amplifier for sure, but it's hard to imagine that you would have more than 15 amps at 220. So you have to get the one with the two horizontal blades and then the little points down to the bottom, as opposed to the one that's got the L shape out of one of the pins. Go ahead.
Okay, very good, Rich. Hey, look, it looks like somebody came on. So he's kind of overriding you sometimes. So I guess maybe he doesn't hear us, and he came up to the frequency there, over.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, I can see him on the screen there, but I am hearing you. You're not at all strong. There's the times you've been up to S7. You've been hovering around a 4, sometimes a 2. But, that's the thing that's fun about ham radio is you get your ear tuned to this kind of stuff. I fly airplanes for enjoyment, and being a radio guy, I'm able to pick out calls that sometimes other people can't. And it's just your ear gets trained to pick out people out of noise. And so you've not been armchair copy, but I'm getting just about everything you're saying regardless of that. K1BJC NZA Charlie.
Yep, very good, Rich. So, well, I think I'm going to here, but geez, Rich, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate your knowledge. And appreciate it. Wonderful conversation, and I'll be listening for you again to give you a shout, Rich. So 73s, have a great day. NZHC, this is Kilo 1 Bravo Juliet Charlie, clear.
All right, very good there, Ben. Thanks very much. Enjoyed the QSO with you, and I hope I didn't give you any bad advice. 7-3. NZA Charlie. Pleasure was all mine, Ben. And I'm going to call CQ again. Hello, CQ20, CQ20, CQ20. Hello, CQ20 meters. Here is November Zulu 8 Charlie, NZ8C. November Zulu 8 Charlie calling CQ20, 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 CQ. Hello, CQ20 meters. Here is November Charlie, NZ8C. November Zulu 8 Charlie calling CQ20 and listening. Hello, sir. November 6 X-ray Victor Oscar. Okay, KR0E, what a signal you got there. Good afternoon. Name is Dick, Delta India Charlie Kilo, as you know. QTH Columbus, Ohio. KR0 Echo, November Zulu 8 Charlie. Okay, very good. Very good. We'll hear you again. We've worked before. Name is Don, Delta Oscar, Norway, Don. I'm over Colorado. We're back, it was back in April, not that far back. That's correct there, Don. Boy, you got a memory on that one. That's pretty good. Your signal is not real strong, but it is adequate, at least for the time being. I'm going to give you about a 5 or so, plus or minus. Signals are... Go ahead, Paul. So I can't rotate it, the antenna, to talk to you there. It's just wherever it is, that's where the trees are. And the rate 7,300, and about 800 watts on the Ameritron EL80B. KR0 Echo NZ8 Charlie. Yeah, NZ8 Charlie, KR0E. Let me see if I think it's okay there. Yeah, well, you're doing well. You're S9 plus a little bit most of the time. A little over S9 most of the time. Okay, so you're good. I got 5,000. It's the transceiver, running about a kilowatt, and the antenna stays reality. I'll be at about 45 feet. Just pointing your way, the D5RV is obviously doing a great job. So now the new place is the old place here where I've got notes here. I tend to take notes as I go. So my memory, don't give me all my credit for my memory. Yeah, this is credit for the good memory. So I said that was their house before, and then went to the whole place on pretty impressive. Yeah, KR0E, NZ8 Charlie. Yeah, the new place is about 2 miles from the old one. The old one's an older part of the suburb of Westerville, the suburb of Columbus. I just say Columbus because it's recognized. But the Westerville's a town, and the old house was been there 45 years. It's a 100-year-old house, and very small. And it's what I had for 45 years, and then came over to this place here, which is a little bit newer, actually.
To Mother Nature for sure. Tip out 4. Come back with us, reading your mail. To you up there, Fat Man. Audio, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. I think I got it all adjusted out and working right. Hello.
Roger that, we're going to get paper on the a lot of Eastern states coming in. Anyways, you have yourself a good evening. Rest of the weekend, we'll talk to you again soon. 73 from 881 here.
What's your problem? You got plenty of mouth. You got plenty of mouth, big man. AD 141 downtown Birmingham. You just need some bigger ears. You just need some bigger ears. Hey, big man, you got plenty of mouth. You just need bigger ears. 141 Birmingham. 141 Birmingham. I know. Put it on your later 27, go start a chicken to make up. Two-seven big car motor got me. I can't get it in the world. Because say, you got mouth, you just need bigger ears. I heard somebody else keyed up along with you, big man. I didn't get that 28. But 141 downtown Birmingham. 141 downtown Birmingham. Getting on down. Come on, 27, where you been? All right, go down 27. Pocket.
Dropping on 27, got a reach from Franco. Keep clear around the junction around Big Man, goddamn. Right here. Okay, we get it right there, we get it out.
Well, we've been blessed with it so far. It's up to me to make the best that I know how to make out of it. Hey, you better.
875, keep clear around the junction around Alabama.
Next thing, if I'm blessed with it, than I did the day before. 827. That's the way I try to play it on this end. I'm just happy and proud to be here.
All right, 1475, be too clear. 875, that's the way around the junction around the Big Man. Where you can go.
Man, I'm just out here in the way. 875, I ain't doing nothing, I'm just out here in the way. 75, go stomping, I'm stepping down in the middle of the rut. Let's ride. Roger, the 27. You know I can just sit here and listen to you and don't even key the mic up. I enjoy listening to you. Hey, doggone, you got everything going so well and swell with you and yours and all the rest. 827. And keep on.
I get too clear. Keep clear around Big Man.
In Alabama, I'm in the middle of the run. I'm getting on down. 27. 141 down. Alrighty, mighty fine, my friend. I ain't gonna try to get you out there and leave you on that cop making in because we're not supposed to leave no man behind. Bump it down on you later. 75, the light shines on. Go start with a Jonathan Jones. See, I was looking through some of my pictures, looking at some of those high structures. Yeah, I wish I was able to, being able to see what I've done and let you see what I was able to do while I was off into that.
Just want to check it out, sir. Good. Catch the last transmission. Conditions have changed. 73, my friend. 73. Victor Echo 9. Radio Kilo. We're clear.
247, not my frequency.
Michigan, on board the lightship Seaman USA 394, name is Stan, over.
Okay, Stan, thanks for your work there. And 73, name here is Tom. This is Whiskey 4 Charlie listening.
Whiskey Alpha 9, Tango, my uniform.
Is that the dog calling me? Oh, doggy, buddy, I've been thinking about you. Hey, dog, you got to get back to Washington and straighten things out there, you know? I just saw on the news here at C-SPAN, they're spending our money, they're all messed up there, dog, over. How you doing there, buddy? Remember that picture you in Columbia, Maryland, outside the station here with the American flag. That was a classic, over. Yeah, Roger. Okay, well, it's good to hear from you. Yeah, things are not very good right now in our country, you know. I'm sure you know. I hope, I don't know what your gas is up there, but it hit $5 down here. It's coming down a little, over. Okay, dog, you faded out there a bit, but I really appreciate you calling me. This is a special event for International Cat Day on August 8th, over. Okay, well, that's good. All right, well, you take care, and you bring back memories there, over. Okay, 73, this is Whiskey 4 Charlie, special event station for International Cat Day. We're listening.
Whiskey 9 Radio Foxtrot.
The Radio Foxtrot.
Whiskey 9 Radio Foxtrot.
Okay, W9 Radio Fox. I think you're on CW quite a bit. Who worked on CW here, 59 Florida, over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, we got you a couple days ago, or yesterday, whatever it was. Name here is Joe. You're doing very good, Tom. You're 5'9", plus here in Illinois.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Do you know my friend Jerry, WB9Z, over?
No, it doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, he's up there, somewhere up there in Illinois on the farm. Okay, 73, and thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you, 73, and good luck.
Whiskey, Quebec 9, Sierra. Okay, Whiskey, Quebec 9, Sierra, you're 59 Florida.